A lot of the story for Collision came from what happened after Collision, and then I guess in the last couple of days, stories have come out about other things related to it. But as you said recently on the show, it's typical in AEW and WWE at the end of the show, the biggest stars in the room or the biggest people in the last match get on the mic and talk to the room a little bit.
And thank everybody and tell them how much they mean to them and all that stuff and everything. This is a new phenomenon, recent with modern wrestling. They used to do it in Ring of Honor. They want to be fan friendly, right? But in this case, Punk and FTR did an after-match promo. And I would say FTR was friendly to everybody in North Carolina because they're from North Carolina. At least Dax is. I don't know about Cash originally. But Punk wasn't friendly to everybody because apparently somebody had a Hangman Page sign and or was, shouting out the praises of Hangman Page, and it caught Punk's eye and ear, and he responded. I don't know. Do we have audio or do we have quotes?
I could find some audio. Various people filmed it. The quality is different everywhere. Let me get this pulled up.
But basically, while you're doing that, but the gist of the thing was that he understood now. The guy had the Page sign or whatever, Hangman sign. He said, I understand now why Hangman is called Hangman, because that's what his action figures do in the toy store, is hang on that peg unpurchased. Which I thought was kind of hilarious, because then somebody on Twitter this morning sent out a picture of a toy selection in one of the major retail stores. I think everybody can figure who I'm talking about. And all the figures that are hanging there are all Hangman Adam Page. Everything else is gone. It's all Page. What the fuck? Do you have any exact verbiage there now?
Well, Jim, every example of the audio here kind of sucks. I would need more time, but I have the quote here. I have the actual direct quote according to Fightful.
What was said? What was said?
Carolina is Hangman country, referencing a sign in the crowd. Earlier today, I went to a local supermarket, and I figured out why they call him Hangman. It's because the pegs in the toy aisle are full of Hangman action figures because nobody wants to buy them. He's a peg warmer, unlike me, who moves merchandise, pops ratings, and sells toys. A peg warmer.
And again, all the people who like him go, yeah, you do. And all the people who don't like him go, boo, fuck you. And he likes both.
But like you said, that we saw that picture this morning of some Target or Walmart or whatever it was, and just nonstop Adam Page figures. Everything else is
everywhere. Gone. Yeah. There's crumbs everywhere else, and his aisle is completely stocked.
Well, Jim, coming out of this story, it came out, it was reported by Dave Meltzer and others, that Adam Page was turned away from the building, that he showed up to shoot promos backstage and was told that he would have to do it elsewhere. And then came out that other names that have been either this past week or previously asked to leave Collision or not invited to Collision include Christopher Daniels, who I think is head of talent relations, Matt Hardy, and Ryan Nemeth, a name that surprised some people. All, of course, have, whatever you want to say, friendships with the Young Bucks, and may be considered by some people who were not friends with the Young Bucks to be stooges for the Young Bucks.
Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Super Kick Party? And
I won't say names.
We don't know about Ryan Nemeth. He never gets on television.
Apparently, he's been a regular in the Being the Elite videos.
Okay, well, I was going to say, we wouldn't know what the beef was with Ryan Nemeth because he's never on television. He's Dolph's younger brother.
Oh, wait, actually, I have something right here. The issues may stem from when Punk did his return promo. Ryan Nemeth tweeted out, literally the softest man alive.
Ah! Well, apparently now he's literally the most unemployed man alive, at least on Saturday nights, is Ryan Nemeth.
And here's more from Dave Meltzer. Punk confronted Ryan Nemeth on June 17th in Chicago, his first night back. Something happened. I was told it was all settled. It wasn't a big deal. Obviously, it wasn't all settled.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You got tit for tat.
Matt Hardy was booked Saturday, told not to come. And Christopher Daniels is not supposed to go on Saturdays anymore. Yeah, the head of talent relations is told to stay away on Saturdays.
Well, it's because of the relations he has with some of the talent.
That's why he has
I
his
like
job.
Christopher Daniels. He was a great worker and a nice guy, but he busted in the locker room with the rest of them. And luckily, nobody fucking punched him in the face, but I can see where that one would think, well, this guy's obviously not on my side since he came in with the group that started this whole mess. So here's the thing. What have we been hearing for months since last September? It's been almost a year now. Punk is not allowed to be around the Buckaroos and their friends. Punk has been told by attorneys, don't try to contact Kenny anymore and settle these things. Punk has been told that he's persona non grata in these various situations. So in return, he said, okay, well, I'm the guy over here on Saturday nights, and you can't come and play in my sandbox if I can't come over and hang out in your backyard. So fuck you.
You know, just put yourself in the position of CM Punk here. You have a bunch of people that have constantly fucked with you, either overtly or in a passive-aggressive manner. They continue to fuck with you, continue to put you down. The company's not doing the biggest money thing they have on the table because of all this. Hangman Page can come to the building and be in the back. Matt Hardy? Why? Because he's in the Carolinas? He can come to the building and be in the back? If you think someone's going to be a problem and you're trying to create a good atmosphere there where none of these drama hounds are around, why would you want any of these people in your building?
Exactly. And why, if you've been told, well, you can't come over here and play with our friends, then why are you going to let their friends come over and play with you? The answer is because on Saturday night, they're not playing. They're trying to do a television wrestling broadcast instead of a friends social club. The problem is that Saturday has gotten short shrift on the talent because there are more aggressive parkour artists and cosplaying gymnastics experts on the roster than there are actually serious, accomplished, competent professional wrestlers. So there's more names on Wednesday night, but the Saturday night television program is better because it's all people who actually understand what kind of fucking business they're in.
Well, there's some reporting here before we wrap things up. Nick Hausman, who previously has been all over this Punk stuff, previously was pointed out by Punk in that press conference famously. He's saying that Nemeth and Daniels being sent home was a direct result of conflicts with Punk. Notably, Christopher Daniels' involvement in the post-AEW All-Out altercation was specifically portrayed to us as the reason the Fallen Angel is not at Collision, since Ace Steel, Punk's good friend, was also involved in the altercation, but not allowed to return backstage for Collision.
Yeah, even though he was told ahead of time that when he got his job back, he was going to be involved with the show and that he was going to be Punk's agent on the scene, he's being paid and working remotely at last report that we heard, because they're still all upset at him because he beat up two of them by himself.
But if none of them are in the building, what's the problem? And again, to finish this sentence out
There is no problem. Ace Steel has never been dangerous in any way to anybody in 30 years in wrestling until somebody was trying to beat up a friend of his, and then he fucking kicked some ass.
Well, don't forget his wife was in the room too.
Well, yeah, and his wife was sitting there with a fucking cast on her leg, and he beats up some people who can't fight to begin with, and they get mad, and because the various legal staff at that company are all under the sway or under something of the talent, they make up reasons why Ace is not able to be there because everybody's scared of him.
Punk is said to feel the same about Daniels and does not want him backstage either.
Well, there you go.
Seriously, if you're trying to create a drama-free locker room, and so far Collision has been. I mean, very few people have crossed over. MJF, obviously, is the world champion, and that Adam Page thing, or Adam Cole thing with him and FTR was a big thing on the show. But you're not hearing too much drama. You're still hearing plenty come out of that other locker room. You're not hearing much come out of here. Why would you want to introduce these, dare I say, cancers into your locker room? You want Matt Hardy back there? This guy, he almost brags about being a stooge for the Young Bucks.
Well, and all he was doing was delivering a truckload of flowers for the Buckaroos. from Big Mama's Flower Shop right down the road in Charlotte.
And with this Ryan Nemeth thing, at a certain point, there have to be repercussions. If you can't just go out there and run your mouth and talk shit because you're trying to buddy up to one side and then the other side comes in, you're like, I don't mean it. I want to be in the back. No, go to the back on Wednesday.
And I would have to suggest to Ryan, you need to have a little more weight in your fucking ass before you can start knocking the biggest star in the company on Twitter just because of who you're friends with.
Yeah, the softest man alive may not be CM Punk. It may be one of the two bucks who went in there thinking they were going to do something and got their shit kicked out of them. Those two may be the candidates for the softest men alive. And their hangman fake cowboy friend. But what do you think in general? If you are a promoter, you are a booker. I mean, Tony Khan is out to lunch on all this because he's afraid to do anything, to actually put his foot down about anything.
Yeah.
And that's what causes every single one of these situations. The key to all the drama is Tony Khan, because Tony either likes it or is just too scared to do anything about any of it. But if you are...
I'm betting on B there.
But what do you do? If you're in the back and you are trying to have a good locker room, and forget about like AEW split in half. If you're just a promoter running a show and people just think they should be in the back, whether they're local wrestlers in the area or people that cause trouble or someone who used to work for you, whatever it is, should you just let anyone in the back or should you have a tight group of people back there?
No, hold on. Well, you're asking a million questions in a million different directions. No, for people coming to look to get booked or just to hang out with their friends, there's always been special cases. If a huge star came to the building just because they happen to be in his hometown to see an old friend of his, and the guy's a legend in the business and blah, 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 nobody's going to kick him out. But if you got a bunch of people just trying to hang around to get booked or talk to their friends or potentially get their face seen, you're doing business. You're doing a national TV show. That needs to be kept to a minimum. All these people, in one respect or another, work for that company. So in dealing with
booked?
that...
But was Matt Hardy booked?
Well, maybe he was and maybe he wasn't, but it's right down the road from Cameron, North Carolina, so maybe he just thought he'd show up, but that's the problem. The problem is that if they can do it, if the Wednesday night crew can do it, say, well, we're going to put those people over on Saturday, and we know that CM Punk's the biggest star in the company. He's making hopefully more money than everybody else, if Tony's got any sense, but we don't want him on our show. We don't want him around in our locker room because he might beat us up again. So it's entirely forgivable or expected for that guy to say the same thing. Well, I don't want your fucking stooges over here fucking my show up, bringing this drama, putting a fucking mouth on me, as Dennis Corluzzo would say, running their dick lickers about whatever they want to take up for their friends. We don't have time for that shit because we're running a business over here on Saturday night. And if I was Tony Khan, and I've said this before and I will say it again, I would get everybody together and I'd go, yep, I think the biggest money match that we can put on is CM Punk and FTR against Hangnail and the Buckaroos or Kenny and the Buckaroos or whoever in the Buckaroos. And that's what we're going to be doing at the pay-per-view at the end of the year or whatever. And here's how we're going to get there. And is everybody on board with that? Tell me now so that we can help you carry your shit to the car and you can figure out somebody to call to get booked in the future because you're fucking fired. I'm paying all of you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and you're going to do the shit you're supposed to do. And I don't care if you have another real fight. Have a goddamn real one, get it out of your system, because the fake one is going to be on my TV or on my pay-per-view and drawing me money. Otherwise, I don't care what you do. Kill each other. Doesn't matter as long as you show up for the match and you do the finish that I tell you to do. Then go out in the parking lot and take baseball bats to each other. I don't give a fuck there either, as long as you can show up next week for TV. It doesn't matter to me. You work for me, and you are going to draw me money, or you are going to leave. It's not hard. If he was anally fucking penetrating people, say they're flying them all over the country for $100 a night, maybe they should say, well, fuck you. But for that much money, for the talent that some of them possess and the fact that they never would have got anywhere if Tony wasn't green, inexperienced, and halfway clueless, No, for that much money, I'd be going out committing fucking contract hits for the mafia. So that's what I'd do.
All right, well, that was AEW Collision.